Hello everybody, it's DTK Productions and welcome back to another video. In today's video, I have removed every single player who's an 80 overall and above out of the league. If we scroll through the rosters, you'll see that there is no player 80 overall or above on any of these teams. And if we go to the All Players tab that includes free agents, you'll see no 80 overalls, and the best player in the league is 79 overall Andre Drummond. We're going to do a 2-year sim, but after the first year, if anybody that is a 79 jumps up and makes their jump into the 80s, they're going to be removed from the league from that point. And the same thing goes for the incoming rookies. Victor Wembanyama probably going to be deleted if he comes in at an 80 overall and above. But in a league that is going to be dominated by 79 overalls, who do you guys think is going to win MVP? Leave your prediction in the comments right now. And while you're down there, if you wouldn't mind subscribing and leaving a like, that would be greatly appreciated. But now for my prediction, who I think is going to win MVP. You guys might not agree with this one, but I'm going to take Russell Westbrook. I think he's got okay tendencies. If I go to shot tendencies, these random. John Wall might be a good pick too. But based on touch tendency, Russell Westbrook got the 85 touch tendency, 80 shot, and he's the best player on the Lakers. So he's my pick to win MVP. I'm going to sim to the All-Star break. I'll see you guys there. All right, we made it to the All-Star break, and these are your league leaders in points per game. Jaden Ivey is actually leading the league, 26 points per, followed by Gary Trent Jr. and John Wall. This league actually only has 6 people scoring more than 20 a game, and most of the 6 have actually crossed the threshold of 80 overall. So at the end of the season, after playoffs are all said and done, these guys are actually going to be deleted from the league. And here's my MVP pick down at number 33, averaging 16.2, 6.6, and 5.3. He's probably not going to win MVP, so I was wrong. Hopefully your prediction's still alive, but let's go look at the award races. Looking at the award races right now, the leader in MVP race is Markelle Fultz, followed by his teammate Paolo Banchero. Then in third, we got Andre Drummond, Dennis Smith Jr. at 4, and Daniel Gafford finds himself at 5. Of course, being second in MVP voting puts you in first in Rookie of the Year, but followed closely behind Jaden Ivey, who is the league leader in scoring right now. And then you've got Chet, Dyson Daniels, and Keegan Murray. Then for Sixth Man of the Year, you got Omer, you're at 7, followed by Bones Highland, Cole Anthony, Hamidou Diallo, and Kobe White. For DPOY, you got Andre Drummond, Daniel Gafford, Chet Holmgren, Matisse Thybulle, and Naz Reid. Most improved player with less competition, Naz Reid finds himself in first, Daniel Gafford, Jonathan Kuminga, Aaron Holiday, and Isaiah Hartenstein. And if we go to the standings, there are a few teams that are sticking out above the rest. You got the Indiana Pacers, who are 43-17, followed by the Orlando Magic, who are 42-17. And then out west, you got the New Orleans Pelicans, who are 41-18. And then beyond that, it's kind of just even for most of the teams. There's pretty good parity in the NBA. But if you want to know the teams that are not playoff teams right now, if it were to start today, the Trailblazers, the Timberwolves, the Clippers, the Thunder, and the Suns, and the Celtics, Knicks, Nets, Cavs, Heat, and that's it. If we look at the all-star teams, you got the 2 captains, John Wall and Andre Drummond, and your all-stars are John Wall, Karis LeVert, Ricky Rubio, JaVale McGee, and Kyle Anderson for your starting lineup for Team John Wall. And for Team Andre Drummond, you got Andre Drummond, Russell Westbrook, Aaron Gordon, Daniel Gafford, and Markelle Fultz. And for the reserves for John Wall's team, DeMarcus Cousins, Jabari Smith Jr., Chet Holmgren, Kevin Porter Jr., Montrez, TJ McConnell, and Dennis Smith Jr. 3 juniors on that team's reserves. And if we go to the reserves for Andre Drummond, you got Buddy Hield, Paolo, Tyus Jones, Bones Highland, Jaden Ivey, Kelly Olynyk, and Naz Reid. That is just about everything I need to show you so far. We're going to go to the end of the season. I'll see you guys when we get there. And we've made it to award selection. Your MVP of the season is Andre Drummond, putting up 16 and 15 with just about 3 assists, 2 steals, and 1.5 blocks. Honestly, that is a really good season. Your Rookie of the Year is Jaden Ivey, putting up 25, 3.6, 4.1, 1.3. Not great shooting splits, though. Omer does win your Sixth Man of the Year, putting up 13.5 and 12. Andre Drummond also goes on to win Defensive Player of the Year, putting up 16 and I already read you guys the stats, actually. And Most Improved Player, Naz Reid, putting up 17.5 and 10. Coach of the Year is Rick Carlisle, coach of the Pacers. they went 59-23. All-NBA first team, John Wall, Markelle Fultz, Paolo, Keegan Murray, and Andre Drummond. You got 2 players from the Magic. All-NBA second team, Jaden Ivey, Dennis Smith Jr., Kyle Anderson, Karis LeVert, and Daniel Gafford. And for All-NBA third team, DeAnthony Melton, Tyus Jones, Jonathan Kuminga, Victor Oladipo, and Naz Reid. All-defensive first team, DeAnthony Melton, Patrick Beverley, Jonathan Isaac, Matisse Thybulle, and Andre Drummond. All-defensive second team, Hamidou, John Wall, Kyle Anderson, Robert Covington, and Daniel Gafford. And for your all-rookie first team, you got Ivy, Banchero, Murray, Holmgren, and Daniels. And second team, you got Jabari Smith Jr., Jalen Duren, Johnny Davis, AJ Griffin, and Benedict Mathurin. These are your final standings for the NBA. For the East, you got the Pacers, Magic, 76ers, Bulls, Hawks, Wizards, Raptors, Hornets, Pistons, and Bucks making it into the play-in or playoffs. And your teams that don't make it are as followed: the Heat, Cavs, Nets, Knicks, and Celtics. And out west, the teams that didn't make it: the Suns, Timberwolves, Clippers, and Thunder, and Jazz. And the teams that made the play-in or the playoffs: the Warriors, Trailblazers, Lakers, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Spurs, Rockets, Nuggets, Kings, and Pelicans. The best team in the whole NBA, though, Indiana Pacers. If we look at the Indiana Pacers roster, they're actually going to be losing a player next season in Buddy Hield unless he regresses. But the rest of these guys look like they're going to stay at around a 79, 78, so they might have a really good team for next year. And then we can look at the number 1 seed out west. The Pelicans are likely going to lose their best player in Jose Alvarado unless he doesn't go up 1 overall in the offseason during player progression. But overall, this team is pretty good, all things considered. But now we can get straight into the playoffs. We're going to go round by round. So we're going to simulate round number 1. The first team to get eliminated is the 76ers, then it's the Hornets, then it's the Kings, the Hawks, the Spurs, the Mavericks, the Raptors, and the Pelicans get upset by the Trailblazers. Now we're going to sim the second round of the playoffs. The Lakers will lose, the Wizards will lose, the Trailblazers get beaten, and the Bulls will lose. We're left with these 4 final teams in the playoffs. We're going to simulate the whole round, see what happens. The Magic get swept by the Pacers, and out west, the Rockets will lose to the Nuggets. Bones Highland wins your Western Conference Finals MVP, putting up 15, 4, and 5, and TJ McConnell wins your Eastern Conference Finals MVP, putting up 15, 5.5, and 7. Now we're going to simulate this game by game, see if we get a close one. Nuggets win game 1, Pacers win game 2. Game 3 will go to the Pacers. Game 4 will also go to the Pacers. Game 5 goes to the Nuggets. And we've got a Game 7. Now we're going to simulate this game with Simcast, see if we can get something to jump in on. Well, with a minute 45 seconds left, it's a 30-point game, so we won't have something to jump in on in this first season. The Pacers are going to walk away with the first championship of no 80 overall simulation. Now I'm going to let everything play out through free agency and the draft, and then I'm going to eliminate all 80 overall pluses once the season gets to day 1. Now we've made it to the beginning of the season. Number 1 player is Victor Wembanyama at 84 overall. Every single player and beyond that is an 80 overall. So the best player is going to be Kobe White. But any of these guys are getting removed from the NBA because we cannot have any 80 overalls. Now, as I'm going through and lowering the overall of all of these 80 overalls down to a 40 since they reached the limit and I cannot delete them from the roster, I've realized the Orlando Magic have 6 80 overalls after last season, so they are going to be taking a huge dip in production. Their best player is now going to be Chuma Okeke. Your championship winners, the Pacers, will only actually lose 1 player, Chris Duarte. He was the only person to reach an 80 overall for this team, so they have a lot of potential moving forward. The league leader in scoring, Jaden Ivey, is actually going to be brought down to a 40 overall as well as he reached the 80 overall mark. The Rockets will lose their all-star in Jabari Smith Jr., and they'll also lose Alperen Sengun. And there are a few people I haven't shown you, just like not big-name players that weren't really doing great last year anyway. Those are the ones I won't be mentioning to you. But this one I will be mentioning to you, just like Victor Wembanyama. Scoot Henderson comes into the NBA as an 82 overall, and he will never play a game because you cannot be an 80 overall and above. Same thing with Victor Wembanyama. He has already been removed virtually from the league. Now the OKC Thunder will be losing Chet Holmgren, and they'll also be losing Amen Thompson. But this team did pick up Naz Reid in free agency, who was really good last year, and they've still got a whole bunch of studs at 79 and below, so we'll see what they can do this season. The Golden State Warriors will be losing Jonathan Kuminga as he reached the 80 overall mark. He actually hit 82 after last season. season, so he will be removed from the league. So now, with all the new 80 overalls removed, we have reached a new NBA. This time, Kobe White is your best player. Karis LeVert is number 2. Derek White, Onyeka Okongwu, Lauri Markkanen, Keegan Murray, Malik Monk, Emmanuel Quickley, Dorian Finney-Smith, Victor Oladipo. These are your stars now. Now, I've learned from my mistakes. My favorite to win MVP this year is going to be Kobe White, because last time it was the number 1 overall player for the Bulls who won it. So the number 1 overall player is for the Bulls. He's got to win it this year, right? But now I'm going to sim to All-Star break. I'll see you guys when we get there once again. And we've made it to the All-Star break. In year number 2, your number 1 scorer in the NBA right now is James Wiseman, followed by Nick Smith Jr., Lonnie Walker, Cameron Whitmore, Keegan Murray, Jalen Noel, Kobe White, Johnny Davis, and that's it for your 20-point scorers. And this season, we actually have 2 more than we did last year at this point. If we look at the MVP race right now, number 1 is G.G. Jackson, followed by Cameron Whitmore, Keegan Murray, Daniel Gafford is on the list once again, and John Wall. I'm not quite sure why he's number 1. In my opinion, this should be going to Keegan Murray, but if G.G. Jackson can hold up, then good on him. Rookie of the Year also looks like it's going to G.G. Jackson, but number 2, you got Scottie Pippen Jr., Anthony Black, Nick Smith Jr., and Derek Lively. For 6th Man of the Year, you got Anthony Black, Jared Butler, Omer again, Asar Thompson, and Terrence Davis. You got 2 people from the Heat on that list. And Defensive Player of the Year, DeAnthony Melton is number 1 on that list, followed by Jonathan Isaac, Derek Lively, Nerlens Noel, and Naz Reid. And the number 1 team in the East right now is the Indiana Pacers once again, followed by the Washington Wizards. Your non-playoff teams out east are the Raptors, 76ers, Cavs, Magic, and Celtics. The Magic took that big loss in 5 or 6 players who hit 80 overall last season, so that is a big reason for them falling off. And if we go out west, the Spurs are the number 1 seed, followed by the Sacramento Kings. And if we go down to the bottom, the Suns are even worse than they were at this point last year. They drafted Scoot Henderson with their pick. Doesn't really matter because you don't get to keep him because he's an 82 overall. But your non-playoff teams at this moment in the West are the Suns, Nuggets, Thunder, Mavericks, and Lakers. Now, if we look at the All-Star teams, Team Keegan Murray and Team Nick Smith Jr. The starters for Team Keegan, you got Malik Monk, Karis LeVert, Daniel Gafford, DeAnthony Melton, and the reserves for that team, John Wall, Kobe White, Kevin Porter Jr., Jakob Poeltl, Precious Achiuwa, Kyle Anderson, and Omer. And the starters for Team Nick Smith Jr., you got Nick Smith Jr., Cameron Whitmore, Victor Oladipo, Jalen Noel, James Wiseman. And for the reserves, you got Russell Westbrook, Derek Lively, Dylan Mitchell, G.G. Jackson, Dyson Daniels, Naz Reid, and Dennis Smith Jr. But now we're going to sim to the end of the season. I'll see you guys at award selection. And we made it to the 2nd season of awards. Your MVP is going to be Cameron Whitmore, who put up 21.6, just about 7 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.5 steals. Your Rookie of the Year is also going to be Cameron Whitmore with 21.6, 6.8 rebounds, and 2.5 assists once again. 6th Man of the Year is going to be Anthony Black, who put up 19, 4, and 7. DPOY is going to be DeAnthony Melton, who put up 17, 6.8, and 3.5, with 2.4 steals and a block. Most Improved Player, Shadon Sharp, put up 19.3, 6.2, and 1. And Rick Carlisle with the Pacers once again won Coach of the Year. They went 60 and 22. In the All-NBA first team for this league, Anthony Black, Dyson Daniels, Cameron Whitmore, G.G. Jackson, and James Wiseman. All-NBA second team, you got Scottie Pippen Jr., John Wall, Keegan Murray, Dylan Mitchell, and Derek Lively. Third team, Nick Smith Jr., DeAnthony Melton, Leonard Miller, Jaron Walker, and Moses Brown. Defensive first team, DeAnthony Melton, Shadon Sharp, Jonathan Isaac, Keegan Murray, and Derek Lively. And for defensive second team, Derek Whitehead, Dyson Daniels, G.G. Jackson, Chuma Okeke, and Usman Garuba, or I think I got that right. If I didn't, let me know. Your all-rookie first team is comprised of mostly all-NBA teamers, G.G. Jackson, Anthony Black, Scottie Pippen Jr., Derek Lively, and Nick Smith Jr. And all-rookie second team, Dylan Mitchell, Cameron Whitmore, who actually won MVP, so I don't know why he's not on all-rookie first team, Leonard Miller, Jaron Walker, and Kyle Phillips. And these are your playoffs this season. You got the Spurs versus the Pelicans, Kings versus Trailblazers, Clippers versus Jazz, and Grizzlies versus Rockets. Now at East, you got the Pacers versus Nets, Knicks versus Hawks, Bucks versus Heat, and Wizards versus Bulls. We're going to simulate the first round of the playoffs and see who moves on. And for the second year in a row, the 1 seed out west loses in the first round. And there were actually quite a bit of upsets just around the playoffs. Now we've got the Kings versus Pelicans, Clippers versus Rockets, Pacers versus Knicks, and Heat versus Bulls. We're going to simulate the round once again to get to the conference championship. And the Pelicans get swept. The Bulls lose in 5. The Rockets lose in 6. And the Knicks lose in 6. Now the conference championship, we're going to do what we've been doing. Just sim right by it. And the Clippers will lose to the Kings in 4. And the Miami Heat will lose to the Pacers in 6. Keegan Murray wins your Western Conference Finals MVP, putting up 21.3, 9, and 1.5. And Cameron Whitmore, your MVP, wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP, averaging 17, 5.2, and 3.5. And that leaves us with Pacers versus Kings in the finals. Can the Pacers win 2 in a row? Let's find out. Game number 1. Game number 1 will go to the Kings. Game number 2 will go to the Kings. Game number 3 will go to the Pacers. Game 4 will go to the Pacers. Game 5 will go to the Pacers, and this is a pivotal Game 6. Let's simulate this one with Simcast and just see what happens. The Kings would need to win to move on to a Game 7. And it does not look like we are going to be getting any Game 7 action with 21 seconds left. It is 130 to 108, and this game is over, which means your Pacers have won 2 straight championships if you get rid of every player who's an 80 overall and above. Cameron Whitmore won just about every MVP he possibly could have in his rookie season. After 1 season, he's a 1-time MVP, 1-time champion, 1-time All-Star, 1st-team All-NBA, Rookie of the Year, and 2nd-team All-Rookie for some reason. But that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. There's going to be a lot more content on the way soon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I made a Twitter if you guys want to follow that. It'll be in the description below. Yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.